TunePocket.com. TunePocket.com.
Hi,
Hey,
how are you doing?
doing good, doing good. Welcome back. As I like to say, we're not gonna waste no time. We're gonna get right. Hey, Grace, how are you? You doing?
I'm doing okay. Just it's a Monday. Just got done with work, so getting there.
Aren't we all?
Mhm.
Are we all? Mondays are usually fast for me, believe it or not. So, but after Mondays, the rest of the week slows down for me. So,
Hmm.
so Mondays are fast. The week is slow. So
That's nice.
there you go. Um, Today we're going to be talking about the AFSP walk. First of all, what can people expect at the particularly the Memphis walk, the AFSP Memphis walk?
Yeah, so for anyone who might be watching and not know, when we say AFSP, we mean American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And the walk is the Out of Darkness walk. So in Memphis, I'm really excited to see what it's going to be like this year, since it's the first time that it's going to be like pretty different than it's been in the past years. A whole new committee, including the two of us on there. So I'm excited. I think the environment is going to be different than it's been in the last years. And I mean that more in a way of, I think in the past years, at least when I attended, I mean, the walk was great. Like I always enjoyed it. It was always a great place to be, but I think we're trying to be a lot more intentional in certain aspects of the walk. So what to expect is kind of, it'll start around noon is when registration opens. It'll be on October 22nd, Sunday. In Memphis, it'll be in Overton Park in the Greensward area. And we're going to have registration starting at noon. And then from there, just giving people time to kind of settle in. There will be resources for them to be able to get, either resources related to AFSP. I will be at the healing and loss table that day to kind of promote some of the things that we do for people who have lost someone to suicide. And part of that is the International Survivors of Suicide Loss Day. And then on top of AFSP resources, we'll also have a community resource fair of different nonprofits in the Memphis area that will be there giving out information and just providing support. We'll also have a resource, which you will be a part of providing like first aid availability to people who maybe come to the walk alone, maybe just need a moment to kind of sit and talk. Not therapy, not counseling, but just giving space for people to kind of be in a quieter section of the park that might be a little bit off from the activities and things like that. We'll have music that we'll be playing just from a playlist that some of the committee members have put together to hopefully, relate to what people are experiencing there. And then as the walk is kind of settling in, some of the activities we're going to have some things for kids. We're going to have, I think, face paintings from someone who works with the foundation a lot as a volunteer. My mom will be there volunteering. She's going to read 3 different children's books that we picked out that are specifically related to mental health. She's very excited about that. And then we're also, I think, going to have for adults or for kids, because sometimes, adults want to do kid-like things too. I think we're going to have a section that will have like coloring sheets that are mental health focused, where people can just kind of, if they just want to sit and like color, that'll be there just to give people space to kind of relax and settle in. We are also going to have, I think more specifically for adults, is some light yoga and stretching. That'll be about 30 minutes long, run by a yoga instructor named Mary Patrick, who actually lost her father to suicide. So she's volunteering her time with us. And she will also be doing a kind of a closing cool down after the walk is over. The walk, I think itself, if I'm not wrong, I think it's just about a mile loop through the forest. So it's on the old forest trail in Overton Park. So very shady, very breezy, just kind of walking through that together. It does have a paved path that we'll be walking on. And then before the walk starts, we'll do the opening ceremonies and just a few different recognition things. Again, part of what you'll be doing since you'll be speaking as a part of that for yourself. A couple other speakers as well. And then just something called, I think we're calling it like a bead ceremony, I guess, as part of that, where everyone who's there, will be giving out different beads as people register. They can peek up what these beads represent are different colors that are associated with different types of loss or the reason that they might be there. And so during the opening ceremony, we're going to have some moments where people will be able to hold up the beads that are representing while they're there so that people can kind of see who else might relate around them, which is a pretty powerful thing the first time I saw it. And that was with a much smaller group that I saw that happen with. And so yeah. And then I think after the walk is over, just kind of closing time for people. That's another intentional thing that we're trying to do this year is before people just kind of leave and scatter, which of course they're welcome to do if they decide to, but giving space to just kind of have a little bit more closure with everyone at the end than just leaving. I think that's everything. Am I forgetting anything? I feel like that's a pretty long-winded explanation of what to expect, but I think that's it.
I don't believe you have missed anything. Just to let you all know, I will not be doing CEPR in the CEPR.
Right.
But I was thinking about this earlier today. Um, I'm kind of gonna be on quadruple duty, okay? Because I'm gonna be there at 9 to help set that up. So I'm gonna be there. So I'm also gonna be telling him a story. I'm also gonna be walking, and I'm also gonna be in the CEPR booth, and I,
Mhm.
and I know I'm gonna be taking pictures too. So I'm gonna be everywhere. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I am on call or quadruple duty.
It's going to be a busy day.
If you can't walk, that is if you can't walking too. Um,
Mhm.
Not to mention the fact that we have to break down too.
Yeah.
Not to
Gonna
mention
be a long
the fact
day.
that um I'll say had this before. I've been going to the walk ever since 2018, 2019, I believe. 2018. Yeah. But it wasn't until like last year. And I think I've told you this before, where I really genuinely just really felt the warmth of everybody walking.
Mm.
The warmth, the love, the fellowship. Um, I can remember there was a woman who came to the table that we were sitting at. Um, she had some tears coming out of her eyes. I remember that.
Mhm.
So I was just having the time of my life, and it was just one of the more fulfilling experiences I've had for a suicide prevention event. Um,
Mhm.
Again, I just had the time of my life last year of just being there with everybody, and it was pretty awesome to see. I hope it is like that um, this year. Um, so let me ask this question: why do you who a walk?
That's a good question. The first year I went to the walk, which this will actually only be my third walk, and now I'm on the committee of it. But this is only the third time for me. The first year I decided to walk, I heard about it and I was like, oh, that sounds like a good thing for me to do. Being a mental health counselor, I was like, I want to support that and show up. And so I registered and everything. And then after I was already registered for the walk, in between the time I registered and the time the walk actually happened, I actually lost two friends to suicide. And so then it kind of meant more to me. And so I went to the first one by myself. I didn't know anyone well, I knew some people who were going to be there, but I showed up alone and I was just going to, walk by myself. But and then that's the day that I decided to start volunteering. So I guess now why I walk is still for, those people that I personally lost in my life. And I've lost other people in different ways that wouldn't necessarily be, probably wouldn't have been called suicide. But they definitely were harming themselves. And so I don't know if that's the same, but to me, it kind of feels the same in some ways. So I walk for the people who I've lost. I walk for the clients that I work with who have lost someone. One of my clients actually lost someone in her family this week to suicide. So the clients who have lost people, I walk for my clients who struggle with suicide, who have maybe attempted before or who are currently still struggling with just suicidal thoughts or ideations or, trying to get themselves through that. Again, just for my profession being connected to it in a way, I mean, part of what I'm supposed to do ethically, is advocacy. And I feel like this is definitely a form of advocacy of giving space to people. And giving space to talk about these things. So I have a few different reasons why I walk, not just one in particular, but they all feel kind of equally important to me because they're just all aligned.
Yeah. One of the reasons why I walk is because I've had those thoughts where I'm in a dark place. Um, um, it's not easy to pull yourself out of that place. And you mentioned str- struggling with suicidal thoughts. The past couple of years I've been walking for myself because, and and obviously you can tell by the beads that I have. I forget the color. Um, Someone who is struggling. Can't remember the.
I
Yeah,
can't remember them off the top of my head, but they're on the website.
yeah. As a matter of fact, I just did a TikTok video about that, and I can't remember. Nonetheless, I will walk for myself, and because I've struggled in the past and still do to this day with thoughts of suicide. Um, I want to say that I'm walking for myself again, but that probably might change over the course of the next few weeks. Because instead of putting I walk for myself, I can just put I'm walking for everyone who is in a dark place.
Mhm.
Um, so my oldest brother, who his co-worker, um, he had a coworker who ended his life by suicide. Yeah. So um, and you just mentioned how one of your clients lost one of their relatives to suicide. This is why how we walk.
Mhm.
This is why how we walk. Actually, um, I'm not just going to be at the CEPR booth too. I'm also going to be at the Memphis Crisis Center table as well because I'm there virtually every weekend. So, so, so I'm going to be jumping from table to table to table. So, So, what do you think about the power of what do you think about the power of still power of people telling their stories? Um, Came and told hers last year. I'm gonna be telling mine this year. Um, I don't know what to say. So I'm probably gonna be practicing over the next couple of weeks what to say. Uh, how important do you think are other people's stories?
I think they're really important. I mean, from a couple different perspectives. I mean, one being a counselor who's done a lot of group therapy with people, and the first time someone comes to group therapy, they're super, super nervous. They don't really, I mean, most people, I'm not gonna say all people, but most people are super, super nervous the first time they walk into a group therapy session. And then at the end, I would usually ask someone if it was their first time of like, how are you feeling? You know, what is there anything that's connecting with you so far? And I would say 9 times out of 10, what the answer to that question is, I just feel so less alone. I
Hmm.
feel like people understand what I'm going through now. And that was the majority of the answers when I would ask that questions to someone who was new to a group. And I think the same could be said in a large group of people, like at an out of darkness walk. I mean, how many people there are showing up for themselves or showing up for a family member? There are also a lot of like teenagers and children at those walks too. And so giving them space to be like, hey, look, this person talked about this. This is okay for me to talk about if I'm struggling. I mean, I think that's modeling behavior for
Hmm.
young children of it is okay to bring these topics up in a safe, supportive environment. And I think also just giving space for people to have someone to relate to. I mean, I know something that is important as well. And I mean, I feel like you can relate to this. We've talked about this before too, is like representation of different people, different genders, different races, different backgrounds, whatever it might be, who say like, oh yeah, me too. Like I've also gone through this. And I believe there's one other person speaking this year that if it worked out, who we met at the Pride Fest event at the library, and they said that they loved talking about their story and their struggle. And I believe they're speaking to kind of represent another community in the LGBTQ plus community and their struggles. So I think that's also important too, like telling stories that have different representation that different people can connect to. Because sometimes it's not talked about in different communities, or it's maybe more important in some based on different stigmas that they might go through, like right now in Tennessee.
Hmm. Um, so actually, we have three people telling their stories
I
this year.
think so, if I'm not wrong. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think we have like 5 minutes tops.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be like super long or anything. So, but I do think it's important for, those stories to be told in different perspectives, you know. I bet yours will be really appreciated.
Uh, I'm kind of still on a blank sheet of paper on what I want to say. So I have an idea of what I want him to say, but as far as knowing what I truly want him to say, it's still
Mhm.
like a blank sheet of paper there. Uh,
Mhm.
so yeah. So the walk is being held at Overton Park this year,
Mhm.
which is a change from Botanic Gardens because Botanic Gardens was all all I knew. So who knows? Maybe a scenery change is good. Maybe scenery change is good. Um, Probably going to have to be dealing with track traffic a little bit, but
Yeah, I think that's going to probably be the big issue that people have. But there's only so much you can do about that, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, I think the change of scenery. I mean, I think even for those of us on the committee who, had a hard time finding a location and things like that after the Botanic Gardens changed their policies.
It is
Um,
hard. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a search. And so, I mean, this was definitely the best option. And I'm curious to see how it all comes together too, because all I've also known is the Botanic Gardens and, what that looks like. And I think one of the biggest differences, especially from just being at the park yesterday, and talking about it is
Bring you
the
a mosquito spray.
well, maybe. Well, it will be late October. It shouldn't be too bad. I mean, Botanic Gardens was also outside. But I think one of the differences is because of the way that the entrance and things like that to Botanic Gardens is positioned, is
Yeah.
people always kind of be around a lot of different areas. I think because of the way we're trying to set it up,
Mhm.
everyone is going to kind of be in the same area. I mean, they can, wander, of course, and walk around, do whatever they'd like, but everything is going to kind of be positioned in a way of, um, there won't be too much distance between everyone as there sometimes can be at Botanic Gardens. Does that make sense? Can you picture what I mean?
Yeah, it seems like Overton Park is a little bit more spaced out. It's a little bit more room because Botanic Gardens may have been like little bit tight, a little bit tight as far as space goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's kind of tight. Well, yeah, I guess you could say Overton Park is a lot more spacious, a lot more open area.
Mm-hmm.
With Botanic Garden, you're dealing with like trees and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. So
Mm-hmm.
I know, I know, one one thing I don't one thing I don't wish for is I woke up one morning and we were setting up for the walk, got there real early, dark, and it was cold. It was cold,
Mm-hmm.
and that sun could not come up fast enough. That sun could not come up fast enough. It was going to be a nice day for the
Mm-hmm.
walk, but when it's dark and it was cold.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope it's not kind of cold.
Yeah.
Um,
I just hope it doesn't rain. I feel like warm, a little bit colder, that'll be one thing, but rain would be a whole nother thing. So I'm just really hoping that doesn't happen.
Speaking of rain, I I went to the Nashville walk the past couple of years. Okay, and um and I went in 2021 and I went in 2022 and I'm going again this year. I'm going to the walk in Nashville again this year. So when I went to the one in 2021, not only was it cold, but it was rainy. So it
Mm,
was cold. So we walked in cold rain. We walked in cold rain and it was 54 degrees, but you probably could not tell because it felt like a really cold rain and it's
mm,
54 degrees. And it was a long walk. And it was a long walk. It was a long walk. And but we still walk though.
no.
We still walk though. Now, last year, um, last year was a lot better. Last year it was sunny, it was warm, and the weather was just perfect. And we didn't have no rain. As a matter of fact, at the Memphis walk and at the Nashville walk, some people actually took pictures of my shoes.
Mm,
When I say take pictures of my shoes, I don't know if you recall this, but I was wearing shoes that said, if I can find them,
I do remember actually.
uh, if I don't know where. Oh, One second. Yeah. Yeah. This
I remember those.
right here. Yeah. There were actually a lot of people ta taking pictures of the shoes I had on at the Memphis Walk, and they actually took pictures of both sides of the shoe.
I
Uh,
love that.
so not only did they take pictures at the Memphis Walk, but they wanted to take pictures of my shoes at the National Walk as well. So those shoes actually don't give the best foot support, but
They'll do for the day though. They'll be okay.
I probably might have to wear my compression socks. I probably might have to wear my compression socks because I do deal with plantar fasciitis.
Hmm.
Do deal with plantar fasciitis in my left foot.
Mhm.
So, but I should be okay.
Yeah.
Should be okay. Hopefully, when you have plantar fasciitis, it takes you a second to get going.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, um, I mentioned last year how I had the time of my life. And I think he got to hold you while I was having the time of my life. Um, my mind was also split. My mind was also split because I believe we discussed this on an earlier video. I talked to you about how I was scammed.
Mhm.
I
Mhm. Remember?
talked about that.
You did.
Oh, you got to forgive me. My eyes burning. Ooh, my eyes burning. It's been burning all day. Anyway, but I talked to you about how my mind was split. So I was having the time of my life, and then this lady is just still on me like every 5 seconds, just wanting something from me. And one of the things that I am grateful for, well, grateful, blessed, is I will not have that distraction on me. I can
Mhm.
just I can just have a good time.
Mhm.
I can just sit back and have a good time. So that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Grace, forgive me, my eye is burning.
That's okay. I can tell. I want you to feel okay.
My eye is burning. Ooh. Well, do you have anything else to say about the walk?
Um, I don't think so. I mean, I think the biggest part is just my biggest thing, the thing I want most out of it is just for people who come to feel like they get what they want from it, to feel like they get what they need, whether that's a safe, supported space, whether that's a sense of community, connecting with other people. I just want people to get something out of it, whatever that looks like to them. So that's my biggest thing when it
I
comes
just
to.
hope I just hope that I can talk to some people. If Now I hope people don't come to the walk alone, but if they do come to the walk alone, I just hope they'll come over to the CEPR booth and talk. No,
Mhm.
that's what I'm kind of looking forward to. No, just to talk with somebody, get to know who their getting to know who their story.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. Just talking to somebody about their experiences, and of course I'm looking forward to taking pictures. um, I'm going to take lots of pictures. I only took a few last year, so
Mhm.
but but I did make a I did I did send you the TikTok promoting this year's walk. With the pictures from last year's walk.
Mhm.
So and so that's a good thing. One more thing. I was watching a Tina Turner documentary, okay? And Tina Turner had mentioned how she said, hold on, let me close out this thing right here.
Mhm.
There we go. Okay. So Tina Turner had mentioned how she had suffered abuse at the hands of Ike um,
Mhm.
for 16 years. They were together for 16 years. And she went to the doctor and she told her doctor that she was having trouble sleeping. So the doctor gave her sleeping pills and she hid them. And then one day she said she just swallowed the whole bottle whole. And and um and of course attempted suicide. And she mentioned how Ike went into the room and Ike started talking to her, and then all of a sudden she had a pulse, and she just mentioned how afraid she was of Ike. Um, what do you think about domestic violence and suicide?
Hmm. Well, that's a big question.
yeah,
Think about the connection between the
yeah,
two.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That's my mind. Um, well, actually, the first thing that I was trained in when I started my journey as a counselor, when I was an undergrad, I worked at a domestic violence like counseling center. So that was kind of one of the first things I was introduced to. And then since then, I've worked with mostly women that I've worked with who just as individual clients or in groups and things like that who have gone through that as well. And, you know, I think that there's a lot that can be said about it. I'm just going to speak from my experience with it. A lot of what I've seen of the people I've worked with, again, just mostly women who have gone through that. I do think it's something that is thought about as an escape, as a like, I can't do this anymore. Or if I could just get away from this and go to sleep for a little while, which is a very fine line. Um, so I mean, it definitely has an impact because if you're feeling hopeless, helpless, trapped, um, feeling like you don't have any options or you can't get out of anything. I mean, it's definitely something that I think a lot of people think about because of those types of thoughts. And I mean, especially if you're in a relationship with domestic violence or some form of abuse.
And with him.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to have an impact. But I will say, and again, this could just be from my experience. This is not a kind of over generalization or overarching or anything like that. But a lot of the people I've worked with who have gone through domestic violence or abuse similar to that, they don't really talk about having suicidal thoughts very often, at least the people who I have worked with personally. Not to say that that doesn't happen, and that I do think that those thoughts of I'm trapped, I can't do anything, all of those pieces definitely come into play. So I don't know. I'm kind of reflecting on all the things from the past, but I guess I've just worked with a lot of people who have gone through that who wanted to keep moving forward
Yeah,
and somehow were able to not struggle with that part
yeah,
of a lot on and their own stories at least. And again, I'm looking at this from a very like personal experience and the people I've talked to, but generally speaking, I definitely think that there's a connection. I mean, I have no doubt about that. Fortunately, the people that I've worked with haven't experienced that part of it. a lot, or for
Yeah.
some reason those thoughts didn't translate over in that way.
Mm-hmm. Um, yeah, I just thought I just thought that was interesting. Just thought I would get the counselors for a perspective on that because because that doesn't happen to I don't hear about suicide in domestic abuse relationships too often.
Mhm.
Um, nah, nah.
I also wonder this too. I mean, the way that we hear about those things more often is through like research and building your own evidence and things like that too. Maybe it's also something that's just lacking in research. I mean, that's something else I mean, because I haven't worked with enough people who've experienced those things to really have like a sample size of that idea in my mind. But it might also be just a question of, have people ask that question enough to really know how much that is correlated to each other. I mean, that would be my other thought.
Yeah. All right. Let me just end it with this. How good you can see the flyer, but hold on,
You got it. That's good.
yeah, I just want to make sure I show the whole thing. I hope everybody. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. You belong here. I am definitely going to get these fly. I am definitely going to get these flyers out and make other people and let other people know. Um, I'm actually probably going to hand out a few flyers this week at some of my stops at my job. So yeah, I'm gonna hand out a few flyers. Hand out some hand cards I got, wallet cards I got. So yeah, before you know it, this walk is gonna sneak. Before you know it, it's gonna sneak up on us,
Yeah.
and it's sneaking up on us because I thought all about it yesterday, and I said, not counting this week, it's 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like slowly sneaking up on us. Which means I got work to do as far as what I want to say.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if it helps to hear it all, and this will kind of be my final thought, I guess. I was thinking this earlier when you said that. I mean, you've told me your story, like we've talked about it. I mean, thinking of just talking about what you've experienced, how you're on the other side some days,
yeah,
you know, how you're maybe walking for other people this year.
sure.
So, I mean, that sounds like it would be nice to hear.
Yeah. What you just said, I'm gonna try to put that all together within the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
Um, so let me just say this: I'm gonna be bouncing around from table to table. I'm gonna be everywhere. Grace is gonna be everywhere. Um, the committee's gonna be everywhere. So um, I will see you in a couple. I will see you in a couple of weeks then,
I will see you then.
or at the next meeting we have.
In a couple of weeks, I think. Yep.
Right. All right. That is it for the Sean for Real podcast. I am I am out of here. Peace. Later,
Bye.
Grace.
Bye.
Bye.